Hey friends, this is Robert at Daybird Aviaries. We're outside, obviously. We are in the front yard area where the goats and the emus are. Um, I've got a little garden area that I have started. It's not doing as well as I wish. This time last year, I wasn't able to have a garden at all. I had just gotten out of the hospital. I was in DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. Was diagnosed as a full-blown type 1 diabetic even as an adult, um, mostly because of the sarcoidosis that I have. All of my internal organs are just turning into just big fibrosis nodules, and um, Scooter's eating my ginger through the fence. He can have it. Anyhow, I wasn't able to have a garden last year, and so I put together a raised bed quickly and cheaply and filled it up. I filled it up with junk, mostly, rotten logs, mostly. I put down as much cardboard as I could, and then I filled it up with rotten logs out of the woods and off the side of the road nearby that we cut up into little pieces so that we could carry them. And then I bought some bags of topsoil mix. The topsoil mix I bought, well, honestly, I cheaped out on it at Home Depot. And after reading the ingredients, it was sand and ground forestry product. So it's sand and bark. And there's essentially no nutrients in it at all. There was no compost in it. Surprised they even listed the ingredients on it. But let me show you what I've done. You can see I just drove some 2x4s. I sharpened one end, cut it at an angle, and drove them into the ground. Now they were straight up and down vertical, but of course it's bowed out with the pressure of the soil. I bought a piece of roofing metal, a 12-foot. It was about $30. That's really the most expensive part of all of this that I bought. And I just put the metal on the inside up against the 2x4s. I did put a couple of screws in. Jonathan helped do that. On the back side is the fence that I put up. I was talking about that gate in a video, a month or so ago. So proud that I had finally stretched a piece of woven wire fence. How stupid is that? But I didn't even attach this metal at the back. I just leaned it up against the fence and started piling logs in against it. Here on the end, it's no metal at all. It's just logs stacked up against this cattle panel fence. Several years ago, we put in this little picket fence for Daniela. She always wanted a white picket fence. And I had my garden beds there. The problem with that is that it was really, really low. I couldn't reach it, couldn't bend over easily. And it was shaded by these crepe myrtles. And it just didn't really work the way I wanted it to. Very little in my life does work the way I want it to. But we put up the fence to give more room for the goats and the emus and the different creatures that we have. Kind of partitioned off the little front part of our yard some more. Less work for me to try to keep it mowed. You can tell that I don't cut grass. We moved some of the blueberry bushes out here, that Scooter's pen in the back. The boys did drag this garden bed out. We built it and never did put any soil in it. And so they drug it out from where the goats are. Put the swimming pool in there. The kids never used it. It does have a hole in it, so it leaks. It's hard to maintain. I don't know if I'm going to leave it there or if I'm just going to discard it completely. I really want to try to patch the hole, straighten it up, fill it up with water, and put some catfish in it. I've always wanted to do some aquacultured catfish. Of course, I love aquariums and pet fish and all. How do you like my emus? I love my emus. My emus are super cool. And if you hear any noises, that's Justice back there. He is our Akbash livestock guardian dog. But I've filled this up with this soil. Look and see. It's it's just ground bark. There's nothing special about that whatsoever. And because there's no nutrients in it, all my vegetable plants just look sorry, don't they? It just looks pitiful and pathetic. They put in this ornamental sweet potato vine. It's about the only thing that is doing anything. I'd rather you, here, come back here. I'd rather you all drape over the front than take over the whole bed. Here, there. There you go. Have some real sweet potatoes that we planted there. These little tomato plants that you see here, they are a tumbling tom. They're supposed to be a miniature tomato plant that only grows to be like an 18-inch sphere, a little round ball, and produce hundreds of tiny little yellow grapes, not grape, but just tiny little tomatoes. And then in the back we have Roma tomatoes, and then some eggplants and a couple of cayenne pepper plants poked in. And that's really the extent of my front yard vegetable garden. I have some beans and other things planted back in the back by the birds. But I asked on Facebook, oh, I'm here, what kind of fertilizer I can get in a bag locally that's organic and good. And everybody, not everybody, but several people said the Espoma brand. Rose at Wholesome Roots really recommended that, so this is what I bought. It's a 27-pound bag. I think I paid $22 for it. So I'm going to sprinkle some of this around all these plants and see what we can accomplish. Now, a big problem that I had was our animals. The goats got loose. Someone didn't latch the gate correctly. And so the goats came through and they ate quite a few of my starts before I realized that they were in here. And so we got them put back, and some of the starts have sprouted back again. But I did go and buy another 3-pack of the Tumbling Tom little miniature tomatoes to put in here. Because I lost some pepper plants, I planted some of the little miniature bell peppers. I bought all of these plants from a local nursery. They sold them the plants in a 3-pack instead of a 6-pack. They were just $1.50 for a 3-pack of well-started plant starts, just 50 cents each. Anywhere else that I would have bought plant starts would have been the Bonnie's plants, and they're much more expensive. And so I came out well ahead by getting the locally grown. Got them from Hazelwood's Nursery in Pell City off Highway 231. Not sponsored in any way, just wanting to give a shout out to a great local business. They are located behind Jack's on Highway 231 in Pell City. If you're not a vegetable gardener, they have all the landscaping supplies that you would possibly need, as well as ferns and other hanging baskets and even indoor house plants. They have things that you're not going to find at any of the big box stores, weird begonias and things of that nature. Another problem was our dogs. The dogs were getting up into this raised bed, and let's see if I can turn it. Yeah, here. They were getting up into the raised bed and then going over the fence. And so we went ahead and put the big dogs in with the goats and the emus, and that's working out with no problems. Buster, the little, what is he, a Chihuahua mix, thinks he's a dog. He still comes in and out of the house, so he comes into this yard. He goes through the cattle panels, so we don't let him out in with the goats and emus. That's the whining that you hear now. He wants to go back into the house where Daniela's at. But some of our little plants haven't bounced back. Some have bounced back. It's supposed to rain again later today. I'm not going to water this fertilizer in right now. I'm going to let the rain do that later. I would like to extend this garden bed on down, another 20 feet or so until we get to that big blueberry bush that's right before the gate. The blueberries were further out into the yard where the goats are now. We moved those back in the fall. I would really love to get that garden bed full of soil and plant it full of okra. Our truck broke down on the side of the road a couple weeks ago, and I haven't gotten that fixed yet. I've had it towed. It's sitting at the repair shop. I'm just waiting on them to have the opportunity to fix it. So I can't haul in bulk loads of compost or soil or mulch, and I can't afford to buy it in bags for that. I'm not going to buy this cheap stuff from Home Depot, this forestry product. I need some actual compost or some topsoil to grow in, something that has nutrients in it. So there's an update on my garden and showing you some of the goats and the emus and just a little bit of our life. So thank you for watching. God bless you. I love you. Bye bye.